Okay. Um, Real quick. So what we're just gonna cover today, is the customer qualification system that eliminates, the time wasters before you even get there, right? So I've watched multiple contractors spend hours on a customer, tens and hours of his times, phone calls, emails, revisions and meetings, and the customer, ended up saying, your price is too high. We're just gonna go up with somebody cheaper. All that time, all of that for nothing, right? But here's what you guys need to know: that on your first call, you should have realized him that that person wasn't gonna hire you in the first place. You need to spot these red flags from minute one. You just didn't know what to look for, right? So today I'm gonna kind of break down this qualification system that kind of eliminates all these time wasters before you even start wasting hours on following up with them, spending time, booking meetings, going there, all of that stuff. So, you know, first you have to identify who is gonna be, somebody that's gonna waste your time, right? Or just price shopping. Um, so type one, right, are price shoppers. They're basically, picking five people, getting five quotes, multiple quotes. They're just picking the cheapest guy, right? So they don't care about quality. They just care about how much it's gonna cost. You could be the best contractor in your area. It doesn't matter. They're still gonna end up picking like the cheapest guy or the cheapest competitor, right? So you need to call them out. Just be like, hey, is the lowest price the only thing that matters to you, or is the lowest price the only thing that matters? If they say yeah, price is the only thing that matters, be like, yeah, we could do it for whatever price you want, just the quality isn't going to be there. Is that something you're okay with? If they're not, then okay, so obviously you're not going to get that for that price, right? Type 2 is going to be someone that's not ready, right? They're just exploring. They're not actually ready to do a project, maybe next year, maybe never. They're just filling out forms, talking to contractors, seeing just to see what's out there. They're not serious. And then type 3s would be the nightmare client. They're the difficult, demanding, will complain about everything. You can see it in the first conversation. They're rude, they're indecisive, they're unreasonable. Even if they book, they'll just be a nightmare, low paying. They'll literally hover over you while you do the job. It's just not worth it, right? And type 4, bad fit. Your service doesn't match their need. They need plumbing. You're a roofer. They need new construction. You do renovations. You could spend time on it, but it's just not your cup of tea, right? So you don't want to put yourself in a position where you'll try to get the job done, but that's not really your cup of tea, right? And type 5, right? They want a new kitchen remodel. For if it's a $50,000 kitchen remodel, but they have a 10K budget, it's just unrealistic expectations, and that's not gonna work, right? So you spend time trying to make it happen, and then there's gonna be frustration on both sides. So yeah, and I can go on and on about these uh, archetypes that of customers that you will encounter. But these guys exist. You will encounter them. I'm pretty sure you've all encountered these guys. The question is, how fast can you identify these archetypes and save yourself tons and tons and hours of wasted time? That's not going to actually lead to no conversions, right? So spotting red flags on the first call, right? So here's what you have on the initial setting call when you talk to them. If there's somebody that's getting quotes from multiple people, talking to multiple contractor, and they're like, "Yeah, we're just looking for the cheapest guy," that's price shopping, right? You're not gonna win unless if they're a price shopper, right? The smarter response, that's smart. You can say, "Yeah, that's smart, but we're not the cheapest, right? We're here for quality and value. Um, if you want to hire the cheapest guy, sure, but that's not what we do, because what we build here is gonna last, yeah, a lifetime on your home, right? We're gonna make sure we don't have to come back, right? Flag two is a vague timeline, right? So if you're talking to them and they don't know when they want this done, or they say, "Yeah, I don't know," when you ask them, "Hey, what are you thinking, this month, next year?" um, and they say, "Oh, they don't know when they want it done," they're not serious, right? They're just shopping, right? Third red flag is indecisiveness, right? Oh, I don't know, maybe we should wait, or maybe not, I need to think about it. What this means is that they can't make decisions, and they know that this will be a painful decision because of the cost of this project, and you just need to temp check them, right? On a scale of 1 to 10, how serious are they about getting this project done? If they say, if it's anywhere below 6, just disqualify them, right? And then flag 4, which is unrealistic budget, right? These guys want a kitchen remodel for 5K. That's not going to happen, right? They don't understand the materials, they don't understand the labor, they don't understand the pricing, right? If they say no way, too expensive, disqualify them. You guys need to start disqualifying people. um, and 5, rude and demanding people. You don't want to work with them. People that also make too many changes, too many questions. Hey, I want this different, I want that different. Can you also do this? Can you also do that? Like, yeah, that's great questions. Let's just finalize the scope first, and then we can talk about the changes. If they keep changing while you're in the middle of it, every 5 seconds, like, you're gonna have to call it out or either disqualify, right? Um, and then yeah, I could go on and on about this, but the main thing I want to give you guys is a qualification script, right? um, for when you qualify these guys first. So you'd start off with something like, hey, this is XYZ construction, thanks for reaching out. Before I go further, I want to ask you a few questions to make sure that we are a good fit. um, and they say yeah. So great. On the on the scale of 1 to 10, how serious about are you about getting this project done? Is it happening this year, next month, this month? What's going on, or are you just exploring? If they say anything below 6, um, then they're not serious. Or anything next month, if it's more than next month, then they're not that serious, right? Um, Now the next question is, are you getting quotes from other contractors, right? You have to say, yeah, we're talking to a few people. Yeah, you're smart. You'd say, yeah, you're smart. You're deciding what matters most: cheapest price, best reviews, fastest timeline, or something else. If they say cheapest price, they're you just gotta call them out. You gotta say, hey, I'll be honest, man, we're not the cheapest, but we're the highest quality, and we back our work, right? If you're looking for the cheapest guy, we might not be the right fit, but if you want the best results, let's talk, right? So you need to understand what matters more. This you need to literally break it down to them. What matters more, quality or price? What matters more? Because if you want quality, we're the guys, but if you want price, we're not the guys, right? So, last question, like, what is your budget range for this project? If they say 20, 30K, perfect. That's realistic for what you're describing. Here's what I'm thinking. Let's actually do an in-person estimate so I can see your space, actually understand what you need done, and give you a detailed quote on that. And then they say, let's do it. And then, yeah, basically you set it up. That's a perfect setting script, right? If you don't properly qualify these guys on the phone call, um, you're just gonna end up wasting your time going there for no reason, spending gas, driving there, time, putting up bids, and just for them to say, we're not ready. So proper qualification when you get there is very, very important. Oh, my neck is starting to hurt. I've been looking down this whole day. All right. But yeah, see, you see what happened, right? You asked about how serious you are, how serious they want to get this done, their timeline on getting their project done. You asked about their budget, and their expectations to weed out any unrealistic expectations, and you asked about their priorities, and you set expectations about your project and your quality, right? So if any of these come back as a red flag to you, you disqualify early, and you should only be working with guys that are serious about getting it done, and they have green flags, right? So now, when should you disqualify somebody, right? So this should literally tell you, hey, we're not a good fit. If they say if their budget is 50% of what you need, if they want a 50K kitchen remodel for 25K, disqualify, right? If they're rude and demanding, disqualify. If they're purely talking about price and getting 5 quotes from 6 different guys, disqualify. If they're not ready to decide, if they're say, oh, maybe I'm just exploring next year or whatever, disqualify, right? They have hidden issues that complicate things. There's some structural damage that you need to figure out first. Um, and then you are going to end up needing to build and needing to bring in a structural engineer that's going to add cost and time. Are you prepared for that? If they're not ready, disqualify, right? So the key insight is not saying no to the wrong customers. Not saying no to wrong customers means saying yes to right customers, right? You just saved yourself a lot of time. Over a year, that's like 100 hours saved. You just got back of your life, just not dealing with the wrong people, right? Now, the right customers will sound like they're serious, 9 out of 10, they want to do this, they have a clear timeline, they understand the value about not just getting the cheapest contractor, but the quality contractor. They have a realistic budget, they're decisive, they like your approach, they want to get the estimate done, they're professional, they're transparent about their whole situation. That's how you properly qualify people, right? Now, why the math without a proper qualification system, like let's just say 10 customers contact you, you spend time on all 10. You book two, 20%, right? You wasted like 80 hours going through that whole process, going to the estimate, giving the bid out, calculating everything. But with a proper qualification system, you have 10 customers, you qualify them immediately, 5 are disqualified, you spend time on the 5 that are properly qualified, you book 4 of them, 80% of them, and you only wasted like what, 25 hours? But same outcome, 4 jobs, same outcomes, 4 jobs, but you saved like 55 hours. That's like 7 full working days you got back in your pocket, right? So the qualification phrases you can use to disqualify gracefully. So for price shoppers, if they say, "Hey, we're just looking for, you know, price," hey, you should be like, "Hey, I understand that you're comparing options. We're not the cheapest in town, but we are the highest quality. If that doesn't align with what you're looking for, I totally get it. Good luck with your project, right? If they're just exploring, just let them, just give me a call. Whenever you're ready, we'll be back, right? Unrealistic budget, bro. You just gotta tell them like, hey, let me refer you to a cheaper guy that'll give you a cheaper price, but for our quality, like we cannot. This is like kind of unrealistic for our budget. For rude people, like people that are just rude, just hang up on them, right? Honestly, I wouldn't waste my time with any of them. So those type of people, I would just straight up not even waste my time with them, right? That's too many red flags. Um, and with people that are just have way too many red flags, would I just say, hey, it's not a good fit. You deserve somebody who's more, excited to work with you. I'm just not that guy, but I'll refer you to somebody else. That's how you should kind of take it, right? So for you guys, you need to start taking track of your qualification system. Um, how many people do you inquire, right? How many of them do you qualify on the first call, right? You should be qualifying them on the first call. How many people do you disqualify immediately, right? How many are ready to book for an estimate? How many do actually book for an estimate, and how many actually become actual jobs, right? So if you get all of those things in check, that means you're actually qualifying well. This should disqualify at least like 30 to 50% of the people, and then are you closing the right people, right? 80, if you properly disqualify, you should have like at least an 80% conversion rate on the guys that you actually go out and visit. So let's just say if you're closing around 20%, you're not qualifying hard enough, and if you're not disqualifying anyone, you're just wasting time, right? So you guys have to again set up your trackers and track this monthly and just improve it. So just a quick little insightful thing. But if you don't know how to figure this out, and you're spending time with people with tire kickers and don't know how to handle them, you're not sure how to say no to the wrong customers, and you want to start closing 80% of your estimates instead of 20% of your estimates, just go ahead and book like a free one-on-one strategy call. Like we'll basically review your current situation, your current qualification process, build you a whole qualification system for you, identify the red flags that you are not actually looking for in your market, and then from there we'll basically give you a whole action plan on how you can change it. And then if you don't want to do it yourself, you got us, we can do it for you. And then yeah, man, any other questions, comments, concerns, just leave it down in the comments below. And yeah, guys, I'll see you in the next one.